when you become a certain age and you've raised children, my goodness, mm-mm-mm. Your expectations of what you think should happen doesn't always happen. If you are the parent of an adult child, there are some, let's call it surprising emotions
Mm-hmm,
that will
mm-hmm,
take you by storm.
mm-hmm.
And then suddenly you are in a new season of your life. Listen, this is Anne Marie, host of About This Life podcast. About This Life is about the opportunity to take a look at our mindsets, our belief systems. And sometimes we have to change those things. We have to adapt so we can grow and we can thrive. With me today, my guest, Ronnie Izon. Hi, Ronnie.
Hey, Anne Marie, how are you?
I am well, thank you. So, Ronnie and I go way, way back. So, this
Mm-hmm.
is going to be a beautiful conversation. And let me introduce Ronnie properly. First of all, Ronnie, my friend, you are an amazing, amazing photographer. That is what I remember about you. And you even did some things for women like 50 and over, and
Mm-hmm.
we'll talk about that too. Yeah, amazing photographer. You are an amazing person who have worked and poured your heart and your sweat into working, and now you have created Third Act Society. So
Mm-hmm.
we are going to hear all about that. And you, lady, wrote a book. Well, let me correct. You and God wrote a book. That part.
Indeed.
So,
Indeed.
Ronnie, tell us, won't you tell our audience how we know each other? Take us back in the day.
Thank you, Anne Marie, for having me. I am truly, truly honored to be here. So we go way back. I want to say almost 20 years, come to think of it.
Yes,
Almost 20 years now, because the boys are in their 30s.
28 and 32.
There you
Yes.
go. There you go. Yes,
So,
yes.
so
That's how
nearly
long
30
we've known each
years.
other.
Mm.
Yes, we met as most adults actually do in later years. We were friends because our kids went to the same school. And when kids have activities together, you tend to become friends with the parents. It's a double edged sword
Yes.
because at that age, you tend to have more friends, except they're friends by association. Friends because your children go to the same school, they attend the same sports.
Yes.
You see each other regularly. While the kids are busy, we have the parent community. A double edged sword because when that situation, whatever it was, the school, the sport, is over and the kids move on, what happens? We
Oh,
lose most of those friendships.
we lose our friendships. Why in the world do we let that happen? We let the years go by.
We do. We get busy.
We get busy. Our lives fill up with other
Mhm.
things as our kids move on. And Ronnie, we devote and invest all of who we are into our children. That's the other thing we do as mamas.
Yes, indeed. Hmm.
So that is how we met and how we went way back. And our children are in their late 20s, early 30s at this point. And sometimes we go, What happened to the time? What happened to the time, Roddy?"
It flies while we were busy, while we were busy in the mundaneness of life, the running up and down, the times that we dedicate to them, and then they grow up.
And then they grow up. Before we talk about how they grow up, I just want our listeners to understand, should I call it pain? I don't know if pain is the right word. Because
think
when
it
we say
is.
running up and down, we're not talking down to the corner when they are in sports. We are talking across state lines, across state lines, going from this tournament to that tournament. And if you have more than one child, look out. Yes. So it's by nature, we like to give credit to God that we even
Yes.
survived that phase
Yes.
of our lives. Why do you think so many people invest their lives into their children to that degree?
I'm of the firm belief that it's a generational thing that's
Mhm.
perpetrated through, passed on to the next generation. And for me personally, it's now become the one topic that every chance that I get, I want to share with other parents. We really need to break that cycle.
Yes, ma'am.
The reason we need to break it, if you look back at your mother, at your grandparents, what do? They spend their most productive, their adult years raising kids, raising us. By the time they're done, they're almost cast aside.
Yes.
Society says it's over for them. So most of us are doing what we grew up with. We grew up with the expectation that in our mothering years, what I call the act two of life, we devote everything. And most women, I dare to say 99.99% of women save for, oh, the women that are not capable. And it's not a lot of women that are not. A good
Mhm.
portion of the women that I know that I've come across, a mother will give their limb, they will give their eyes, they will give every organ
Yes.
dedicated to their children to save their children. It's what we learned. It's what I want to change. Yes, it's perfectly okay to raise them. It is perfectly okay to love, to give. However, putting ourselves on the back burner should not be the legacy that we continue. It's a balancing act. Absolutely.
It sure is. It's a mindset shift
Yes.
because in raising my boys, the thing was being riddled with fear is that like I didn't want the streets to raise them. I was so fearful of their outcome.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so one can say I raised them because of my fear instead of my love. And one of the things, like I've observed other parenting styles, and on the one hand, you see parents who they're not involved in their children's lives at all. And I used to say, that will never be me. I will
Mm-hmm.
always be involved in my children's life,
Mm-hmm.
never realizing I had gone to the other extreme, never realizing that that wasn't good either. So I feel like that's the point you're trying to drive home that we should not
Yes,
do either extreme.
exactly. And that's what most of us do. We learn
From
to balance other things in life. We can balance this too.
yes,
All we need is the awareness.
definitely the awareness from one generation to another. And then suddenly our children are grown up. You write in your book, and I have a copy of your book here. This evening, we are going to get into a few of the pages. The title of your book, Ronnie, is Slipping Through My Fingers. What
Mm-hmm.
every mother feels, what every daughter will one day understand.
Mm-hmm.
It comes back round. I just want to read this one line to you that you write in your introduction. I became a mother at 27 and forgot to remain a woman. Boom. do we remain a woman? So now that we know what we forgot to do, how do we reclaim that part of us, that femininity, that womanhood that we let go?
Hmm. It starts with an awareness. It starts with an understanding. It starts with a desire. Most women, the way that I see our lives, the thought process through the book, it follows three acts: the ache of letting go, the grief and the identity crisis after they're gone, and then the rediscovery, the transformation of the woman. How do I remain a woman? Most women get lost or they get stuck like a deer in a headlight at the grief and the identity phase, the identity crisis, because all we have known is mom. How many times have you been in the store or anywhere and some kids say, "Ma"? What do we
Yes.
all do?
We look around, we turn.
Even though in our mind we know our children's voices, but there's something in all of us that responds to that name, mom. So,
Yes.
how do you remain the woman? Is number one, understanding that the grief and the identity crisis phase is real. There's no jumping over it. It will come. Even though we're talking about it, even if you read my book or
Hmm.
many empty nester books that are out there, you will have the head knowledge. It will come. When they leave, you will miss them. What's missing? The heart knowledge that nobody can prepare you for. I can tell you about childbirth.
Let me tell you. So you make a distinction between head knowledge
Yes,
and heart knowledge. Okay,
yes.
go ahead. Unpack that for us.
When they are getting ready for college, actually from the day that we birth them, we start to raise them. What do? We give them choices, do we not?
Yes.
In those choices, we're propelling them towards something. In most cases, it's either college, trade school, anything that makes them a productive member of society. We do all that. We don't have a problem. As we propel them, we have the head knowledge that they're going to grow. They have to leave to go do that thing, whatever the
Yes.
thing is that we're propelling them to. That's the head knowledge. The heart knowledge is the day that it happens.
Mm, mm, mm.
The day that you drop them, wherever it is you're dropping them. The day that they pack up and they drive off. The day that they get their appointment, wherever that is. The day that that finality comes, that you know that they're no longer living under your roof. Or even the ones that happen to be living under your roof. There is that day that comes. That's when the heart knowledge kicks in. And for most people, for me, for the first 2 hours, I have three kids, so I've done it before. It's not new. We dropped the first one, no problem. I have two left. We dropped the second one, and then there was one. We knew they were going somewhere. We packed them up for college, did we not?
Yes. Yes.
We drove them there. But what happens when you turn around? I don't know about you. For the first 1 hour, I almost couldn't breathe. I couldn't drive. I pulled over. That's when the heart knowledge kicks in.
Yes.
What
Every
have I
time
done?
I hear you speak, Ronnie, it's like I want to cry. Because I'm right back there. Because I suppose from their perspective, they're like, what's wrong with you?
Absolutely.
And I'm like, you don't understand. And
Mm-mm.
in my case, and I'll, confess what I went through. It was I was going through a divorce when my youngest was still in high school. And for a while, he was going back and forth between his father and me. I was so busy trying to keep it together from not falling apart because I had still had to show up at work, teaching other people's children, by the way, as an educator, as a teacher. I still had to show up at work, that there was a desensitization actually towards my son's needs, a detachment almost, because I was literally trying to survive. I was literally trying to get through the day.
Mhm,
And so when he propelled himself and decides to go off for college, I'm just like, "Oh, what's happening?"
mhm.
Yes. So for each one of our listeners, if you haven't been through it yet, you will find out. How do we prepare ourselves for the person who they still have a child at home? How do you
Mhm.
prepare yourself? Is there such a thing? Because you know they're leaving, but it still hits.
I think there's such a thing. I think instead of the just recognizing the head knowledge, when you're buying those school supplies, when you're doing the college visits, when you're looking at the trade school, when you're looking at whatever their future is, actually, before you go that far, from day one that you're raising them, the
Hmm.
job was never to raise them and keep them. The job was always to let go.
Yes.
And that's the hardest part. That's the hardest part of love. Control is the hardest part. Love that controls is no love.
Hmm.
Love that loves you deeply enough that can open his hand and let you go, that is love. So, how do you prepare yourself? You prepare yourself with the knowledge that the best job you are going to do in life, the culmination of that job is release.
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 And
Release and let them go, whether you want to or not. And here's where the friction comes in for some families. If you don't release them, they will tear themselves off.
yes,
And that's where the friction comes.
yes. Because one way or the other, I want to read a page from your book. Once again, the title of your book is Slipping Through My Fingers: What Every Mother Feels, What Every Daughter Will One Day Understand. It's your prologue. November 2014. I called her name before I remembered she was gone. Charlie! I shouted up the stairs the way I had every Tuesday morning for the past 5 years. Trash truck! Silence that answered back hit me like a freight train. Not the defiant silence of a teenager pretending not to hear, not the busy silence of someone getting ready, just nothing. Empty space where her voice should be, where her footsteps should be thundering down the stairs, where her complaints about Tuesday morning chores should be filling our house with the beautiful, ordinary noise of a life being lived. She was 3 states away, building a future I'd taught her to want, living the independence I'd spent 17 years preparing her for. And I was standing at the bottom of stairs she'd never run down again as a teenager. Calling for someone who didn't need to answer the trash truck is here call anymore. That's when I realized I hadn't just raised independent children. I'd erased myself in the process. Okay, Ms. Ronnie, you're taking accountability that you erased yourself in the process. And just as you just finished describing, that's how we erase ourselves. We
Mhm.
don't take time to cultivate who we are.
We
And
don't.
we basically erase ourselves
Mhm.
and then they're gone.
Mhm.
But here's the good news. Here's the good news. Because God always has a good word.
It does.
You have a society going on.
Whew.
Third Act Society. Let's talk about it.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. But for God.
But for God.
But for God. But for God. That moment you just read, I still feel it like it was just yesterday. We just talked about the heart knowledge.
Yes.
I got through driving home. I put out the trash the following week. Something that's mundane, ordinary life. But a couple of weeks later, I forgot I was downstairs. You could hear the trash truck. And here I am screaming. And for a second, I thought my life was normal,
Mhm.
except there was nothing normal about my life anymore. And that's what a lot of us do. It's not just my trash can that day. How many parents are out there calling out their kids? How many times have you been in the kitchen making meals for people that no longer live in your house? That when they come back, they're not coming back as that version.
Yes.
In our raising them, we're so conditioned. We could run our life on autopilot. We wake up, we know what to do. Get person ABC to destination ABC. Go to work, manage work. In your case, teach other people's kids.
Hmm.
In my case, I was working in information security. As soon as I'm done with people, I'm worried about work, presentation, whatever it is we need to do. But we do it on autopilot.
Yes.
So in the autopilot is where we miss that. Wait, the script has changed.
Hmm.
That trash, I need to take it out. That whatever, when I cook, when I shop, I'm not shopping for a small army. I'm shopping for one. But because we've done it for decades,
Yes.
we actually become the Swiss army, like the Swiss army knife. We can do so many things, but we forget us.
Yes.
We forget the woman. That's how we forget her because we got so good at doing those things.
Yes.
But if we're
And
cognizant, I'm sorry,
hmm
if we're cognizant now, planning forward, thinking forward, we can change that narrative. I'm not saying it won't happen. It will.
hmm
It could, but it wouldn't hit the same way it hit me.
absolutely. We have the opportunity of choice and changing the narrative. How do you I want to talk about loneliness for a moment. I had the privilege of attending your book launch. Those of you watching this, she doesn't throw an ordinary book launch, okay? You had a village. And your village and your pastor. Name your church. Let's give them some props. Shout out your church.
Redeemers. Chapel, Maryland. We're in Lanham, Maryland. Redeemer's Church of Christ. Thank you for that.
Yes, you have a village that threw you a book launch, and a book launch you did. And one of the comments I remembered from a woman who attended, she says, "What will you snap or buckle up the back of your dress?" Because if you don't have a spouse and your children are gone, how do you get that? And I'm like, yeah, it's those moments of taking out the trash, and it's taking the groceries up the steps for me. I'm just like, where is my help?
Woman,
It's trying to take these groceries in the house. So it's moments like that. But we have a choice. And I want to, before we talk about our choices, because, like the good Lord says, we don't want to stay in misery. We want to look towards hope.
yeah.
It's the idea that it can be lonely.
Mhm.
And at one time, on one hand, you don't want anybody's pity. Definitely don't
No.
want that. And you certainly don't want to guilt your children. There's a fine line because it wouldn't work anyway. Because
Thank you
they
for
set
that.
their it wouldn't work anyway because they grown,
Doesn't.
they gonna set their boundaries.
Mhm.
So how does a person who's an empty nester handle loneliness? That is a big thing. That's a taboo thing. Nobody wants to talk about it, touch it. And, like, don't have pity on me. But it's real.
It is. It is. And that is a great question. To say there's no such thing is a lie.
Mm-hmm.
It is real. And you and I know it. It is real.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I don't want to use the word purpose because it's not just about purpose.
Yes.
Purpose is just one of the very many. Number one is first truly figuring out what it is you want to do now. What now?
Mm-hmm.
What next? Some people talk about transformation as if it's linear. How do you transform if you have not excavated
Yes.
all the things that you've repressed, that you've pushed down, repressed over the years? How do you do that? So, number one, like I responded to the woman, it starts with your village.
Mm-hmm.
Find your village. You and I have had to find each other
Yes.
after the
Yes.
kids are gone. What is it that you like? It doesn't, you're not going, Rome was not built in a day, but you can start. Number one is acknowledging I'm lonely. Until you acknowledge that, you're not good. If you don't name it, you cannot fix it.
Correct.
But you're not looking for pity. Most people, most times, we look inward and we're stuck at the I'm lonely. How about you turn that around? Look around you. What can I do? What
Mm-hmm.
can I do to serve someone else?
Mm-hmm.
Because in your service, when you're giving to others,
Yes.
that's where you find the joy.
Come on, preacher.
You're spending the time to bring people on to talk about their lives. That service that you're giving.
Thank you.
And you're getting to meet different people from different walks of lives. Your neighbor 2 doors down, the neighbor down the street, the elderly, the young kids, the young teenagers, the young adult. What is it that you've always wanted to do? That's a great
Mm.
place to start. You're not going to achieve it in one day. It's not a straight line, but turn it around, start with service. In your service, as you're serving others, you will find out number one, loneliness becomes a different word.
Okay.
It's no longer loneliness because you're no longer PD mode. If you can get yourself out of the pity mode as you're meeting people on this medium in your service, as you're learning, I listened to one of your previous guests who
Mm-hmm.
was talking about mattresses. She was a CPA. She talked about mattress. And then in the same sentence, as you were going through the episode, she was talking about breathing.
Yes.
Those are three things that I learned. If I can just put one of those to use, how lonely can I be?
Yes.
It's changing our perspective. Most of us, sometimes because we're so comfortable, I don't want people to think. I don't want. I. If you can reframe the I, what have you done for somebody else?
Yes.
What about we? Where do you serve? I'm a church lady, so I serve in church. I lead the
Mm-hmm.
youth church. I see teenagers upon teenagers every week. I see over 60 teenagers, 60, 80, 100 in a weekend. I am by the door when they're coming in. My arms are stretched. You don't come through my class without a hug. I know what's going on in their lives. That's how I serve.
Yes.
I have the
Yes.
elderly that I serve. I have my passion. I have when I was writing the book. After the book, I have a community. My
Yes.
community is filled with women over 50, women that are empty nesters going through the end of a transition. Stop looking inward. What can I do to serve? Right now, and I don't think I've informed you yet, I am helping women. This is not my first book. Slipping Through My Fingers is not my first book.
Okay. Okay. There's going to be a sequel.
Actually, my very first debut was a fictional novel.
Okay. All right. So you actually wrote a first novel. Imagine that. What was it about?
It was a fictional book. I got tired at some point in time as I was finishing my memoir. Because the memoir is more, as I've talked about it, for me, my experience, it felt like you were picking scabs.
Hmm.
You were talking, you were going, if you're being honest with yourself, some past is painful.
Yes.
And in going through all that, there were times when I couldn't deal with the book anymore, with my reality. So I let my imagination. I've always had great imagination. So I decided to write a fictional book. 100% AI. It was just something that I had to do to get my mind off of my real life.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
my very first book was 100% AI.
Booked for one.
Book for one. It's book one of a trilogy, actually, that I wrote 100% AI. So for the few women that knew about it in my circle, they've asked me if I would teach them. So I just actually started promoting writing in 30 days, teaching women. My audience is always women 50 and above. I speak their language. I know how they think because that's how I think.
Yes.
This is one of the way you serve other people. This is what I'm doing. There's a chance there's one or two people out there that would like to do the same. When you're doing
Chances
that,
are.
how are you lonely? In addition, and I know that not everybody is going to do what I'm doing or what you're doing, putting yourself out here. I understand that. But what is it that you can do? I started a meetup group that I actually just closed because I wanted to bring everybody together in the same container so that I can be more effective. But for
Yes.
my meetup group, I meet twice a month at a coffee date.
Hmm.
I called it Brewing What's Next. These are
Yes.
complete strangers that I know nothing about. But there's enough people out there. What I hear most people say when they say, I'm lonely, it means I'm waiting for somebody else to do something for me.
Mm. Mm, that part. That part.
Instead of waiting, how about you do something?
Yes.
There's people in your community. Take a walk. On your walk path, you'll meet somebody else. Say hello. Ask them if they walk often. Would you like to meet up? In your neighborhood, you don't
Yes.
have to go far. I like when you're, for those people that have insomnia, so the days you cannot sleep. I like when I see those infomercials that wants to go help some kid in Africa. Don't bother. You don't need to look far. Look in your neighborhood. Talk to a teacher. Talk to Anne Marie. There is real need in your neighborhood. Go to the senior center. Travel to a foreign country if you want to, but instead of traveling as the tourist, how about you go help them somewhere? There's tragedy, hurricane in Jamaica right now.
Yes.
Did you say you're
Let's stay
lonely?
with that travel to a foreign country. How many countries have you been to, Ronnie? Every time I'm looking, Ronnie's in a different country.
I have done over 15 countries, and I want to say 13 of it solo.
Yes.
South Africa, I went in a group. My first trip to Turkey was in a group. I actually went on a tour guide through, we did a kaleidoscope, I think is what they called it, of Turkey. We went all around Turkey. We went to places that I would never go in my life. I met women. As a matter of fact, there was a lady on the trip, Millie. Millie, actually, I'm going to send this episode to Millie. So Millie knows that I'm talking about her. If you ask Millie any question, Millie will say $5. Millie's memorable. When I saved her contact, I saved it as Millie $5. These are women I never would have met.
So you know people all around the world.
All around the world. My first trip to Paris, I met a woman. You talked about photography. I took a photo. We've been friends since. Everywhere I'm going in the world, in my research, I find a woman there. When I went to Singapore, I met a woman. I meet people everywhere I go.
Absolutely. I have a question for you
Yes, ma'am.
because as we're recording this, um, our first lady, I call her our forever first lady, Michelle Obama. She released a picture of herself, and it was taken, and forgive me if I get the name wrong, Annie Leibovitz,
Mhm.
a famous photographer.
Yes.
And First Lady Michelle, she is in a pair of jeans and, a short top, hair flowing, and she just looks. She just looked phenomenal. What do you look for when you are taking pictures? Because you take pictures of people as well.
Mhm. I focus, well, when I started, and I've done photography for over 15 years. Thank you for bringing that up.
Mm-hmm.
Because my heart is towards the woman 50 and above, because I know what goes on in our head. I've said this before and I'm going to say it again. When you hit 50, I don't care who the mathematicians are, and I'm here to take the challenge. I will bet $100. The probability of you living another 50 years is what?
It's not good.
Thank you. So now that we agree on that, what do you want the rest of your life to feel like? Before
Hmm.
we talk about legacy, What do you want the rest of this season to look like? You could sit in the house, complain about everything that's wrong with your life. You and I went through divorce, and it
Yes.
was not pretty, but
No.
we've learned to forgive because it's easy
Yes.
to forgive than to let somebody live rent free in your head. So we're past that.
Mm-hmm.
But once you've gone through that, we've been divorced, we've raised kids, we've had careers, what now? The
Yes.
rest
What's
of your
next?
life has to count for something. And because I have that understanding and what I've been trying to teach other women, when I did my photography, the one you were talking about, I had a challenge. The challenge was to photograph, I don't remember if it was 30 women in 30 days,
Mm-hmm.
but they had to be 50 and above.
Mm-hmm.
But before I took their pictures, I had to find out who they are.
Yes.
We went through a discovery phase. Who you are. Where was that woman before you got here? What are your dreams, your hopes? What have you accomplished? What are your regrets? I'm sure you've heard, and I'm sure your listeners have heard. There's a writing out there that talks about women, not women, people at the end of their lives in nursing homes,
Mm-hmm.
what regrets they have.
Mm-hmm.
We're not waiting for that time.
Yes.
We're talking about it now, and we're doing something about it now. So that challenge, that photography challenge was called Cover Girl. Society right now says when you're 50, it's over. I beg to differ.
Okay.
It's not over. We're just starting. What do you mean over? The party's just getting started. We're in the
Mm-hmm.
prime of our lives. 73 million women, and I did the research, and I actually believe more than 73 million women right now in America are baby boomers. They're 50 and above. We're the largest of any group. We also collectively have the greatest wealth of all.
Mm-hmm.
And you're saying society is not paying attention? If you turn on your TV, who's the ad that you see targeted at? Younger people,
Yes.
programs for younger people.
Yes.
I'm saying that each one of us, and I'm calling on all your listeners, if you're 50 and above, I hope you're listening,
Yes.
that we don't listen to what society says. We are redefining what it means to be a 50 something woman. Those women that I photographed, some of them were in their 80s, their 70s. I remember a 70 something year old woman that I photographed. She had never been photographed professionally in her life. All her life was dedicated towards her children.
Yes.
Just let that sink in. She's never done anything for herself.
And Ronnie, it's a treat. It- for example, I had a boudoir shoot. I can't even say the word correctly. It's a treat because if you want something to remind you that you're a woman,
Yes.
those
Oh
are
my
the
God.
things that we have
Yes.
to do.
Yes. Not only did we do that photo challenge, at the
Yes,
end of it, we had a gallery night. We had an opening. They invited their friends to come and see themselves in a different light. I had a challenge on who would be on the cover of the magazine. Valerie, I'm going to send this to Valerie too. Oh my God,
yes,
Valerie. Oh, I can talk on and on and on about Valerie to show a woman how you see yourself in your head. That
yes.
doesn't come from just picking up the camera and clicking.
Mm-hmm.
That comes from understanding who the woman is
Mm-hmm.
and then showing her in pictures. That's just one of those things since my kids have left
Mm-hmm.
that I have done that I still continue to do.
Yes. It's amazing. It's amazing. So if somebody wants to join Third Act, how would they join? How do they find you?
I
And
am
how do they
on
find your book?
the book Slipping Through My Fingers is on Amazon.
Yes.
Available right now. If you put my last name, Izon, Slipping Through My Fingers, Izon, Aderonke or Ronnie Izon, it's on Amazon. My romance novel, my fiction, is on Amazon as well. But for the community, I have a YouTube channel called Third Act Society.
Hmm.
Almost everything that I do is wrapped around Third Act Society. So on YouTube, I'm on Third Act Society, on Facebook, on Instagram. To join, I have a school community that I am bringing women into now. The purpose of that community is exactly what it says, community. For those women that says they're lonely, I say come join us.
Hmm.
But when you join, whether you join us, whether you keep listening, and if you're not listening to About This Life podcast, I don't know what podcast you're listening to
Well,
because
thank
this
you.
because this is real life.
Yes.
It helps, it stops that question or that statement or that thought process that lives in your head that says I'm lonely.
Yes.
When you listen, I've seen your episodes that talks about health, wellness. There's the one about either you get insurance or
Hmm.
you ensure your wealth, your wellness, your
Hmm.
well-being.
You remember that more than I do.
Again, when you say you're lonely because you chose. It's a choice.
Hmm.
Life is series of choices.
Yes,
You
it
will have
is.
1,000 choices, but it's going to come to two choices. Either you choose or you don't choose. Not choosing is a choice. So start with this podcast. Listen to other speakers, other guests. Listen to what they're doing and see what it is that you want to do. Come join my
Oh,
community. But
yes.
when you join, whatever it is that you're joining, my community, other communities out there, please don't be a lurker. Don't just
Participate.
don't just join and just look around. Most
Yes.
people that says they have nothing to do are also not willing to do anything.
Hmm.
And that's what I want to challenge you on.
Or they're doing so much they don't have the bandwidth. And so
Can
I
I
say
get
to
an
you,
amen?
I use the collective you in terms of loneliness. I use the collective you because there are many people who find themselves in that situation and they don't know what to do. And like you, I have a community. I'm doing coaching now, and my community is becoming enough, becoming you. And you remember that word excavate that you said
Yes.
earlier? It's
Yes.
going back to the inner child. So that's my jam. Let's go talk to that little girl that's all
Yes.
inside of us. So we're
Yes.
yes, we're doing great things. And of course we're going to put all this information on the show notes. I imagine you're on IG or you said
I
school.
am.
Yeah, so what's your IDs? Shout it out.
Third Act Society.
Third Act Society. So go on IG, go find Miss Ronnie Izon, go to Amazon, and let's do this thing for each other. Let's collectively as women rise. So, my friend, it was a pleasure to have you on today on About This Life. I want to say to our listeners, please, 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 after you listen, go ahead and like. Go ahead and share so someone else can hear this wonderful message. And in essence, it's a way for you to serve because
Yes.
you will be helping people to find their hope, to find
Yes.
their joy, to help them to climb back up again and to see themselves clearly. So we would
Yes.
like you to share and to subscribe. I'm Anne Marie. Today, my guest has been Miss Ronnie Izon, and this has been About This Life, where we're changing our lives one day at a time. Take care, everybody.